WCMC
HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a chilly afternoon out there. Temperature close to 40 degrees for the high, even with all that sunshine. And it's a cold night tonight. We dip down to 21 under clear skies. Tomorrow's partly cloudy with a high of 49.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 774 points to 43,293.
Foster to the right, Cooper to the corner, Knueppel again. Why not? Looks to the right, here's the lob, Malawach catches and rocks the rim. Cooper drifts to the right to the corner, on. Knueppel's open, and another three. He's got 18. Miami doesn't have a field goal in nearly 4 minutes. James on the drop, into the paint, up top, Cooper's wide open, and he hits a three. To the left, there's Caleb. Back up top, Gillis, open from three, good again.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Wednesday. Tim Donnelly here, Dennis Cox producing the show. You heard the highlights. Knueppel, a big day for Duke. Big day. 6 of 8 from 3, 25 points. That's a career high. Granted, he is half a season into his college career. Could be halfway through his college career, if we're being honest. Projected to be a lottery pick.
True.
I'll tell you this. If you're tired of hearing that Duke is a very, very good basketball team, today's probably not a great day to be walking around because Duke absolutely smacked Miami. But I'll give you – I can't give you the full chocolate bar, but I can give you a Hershey Kiss.
Okay.
Right? If you're tired of hearing how good Duke is, I'm not going to say they're not good. I'm not going to say that they're not the best team in the ACC. But I will say they're not as good as they played last night versus Miami. Miami is a bad team and had bad luck. They caught a buzzsaw version of Duke. That it happens in sports, right? Occasionally you play above your ability level. That's how upsets happen, right? When the lesser of two teams has one of those days and they play above their ability level and they beat the better team, hey, everybody loves it. But occasionally the opposite happens. Occasionally a team is favored by 25 and the team that is seen as better plays above their ability level, and it ends up being a game like last night. Final score, 89-54, and it didn't feel that close. 89-54, and I think it could have been worse. Duke shot over 50% from three. 53.1% from three. That's 17 makes on 32 attempts. If that Miami, what are they going to do with that? What you just watched 42 being scored. I'm sure they watched that tape a whole bunch, right? Cooper Flagg, 42 against Notre Dame. How do we stop him? He was cooking in the mid-range. He was getting to the free throw line. He was drawing contact. Okay, cool. Pack it in. Don't let him beat us that way. They're shooting 53% from three. That's tough. And by the way, it wasn't necessarily Cooper. Knueppel, 6 of 8. Mason Gillis off the bench, 4 of 6. Caleb Foster, granted one of them was very at the end as the walk-on got the assist, 2 of 3. But the shooters, they kept shooting and they kept hitting them. So Duke is very good. They're not as good as they were last night. But you don't give back wins. Like, we usually don't make that percentage of three, so that 35-point win, we'll only count it as a 24-point win. You don't do that, right? The results are what the results are. What I love the most, if I'm a Duke fan watching these last couple of games, there was a closer than it should have been win over Notre Dame, and there was a larger than maybe it should have been win over Miami, is we actually said this stat on air, I believe, so you can go back and find the receipts. There was a 10-game streak where Cooper Flagg led or co-led points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. It was one of 4 times, there were 4 previous. So it was the 5th time in NCAA history at that level that a player on a 10-game win streak led or co-led in all 5 stats in every game. Well, guess what? Since we said that stat, Kaman Malawash has led the team in rebounds each of the last 2 games, more than Cooper Flagg. Knueppel against Miami led the team in scoring, 25, more than Cooper Flagg. The thing that was most potentially worrisome for Duke was it did feel like at times they depended a little too much on Cooper Flagg, and rightfully so. It's convenient, right? It's like having the one kid who hit his growth spurt early in middle school basketball. Like, he's 6'4", everyone else is 5'4" and weak. Yeah, occasionally when we need a bucket, we just go down low. Cooper Flagg is the future number 1 pick, so it was convenient for them to just lean on him. Other guys are starting to, and maybe it's because of the quality of opponent. Let's not pretend like Notre Dame and Miami are, the Spurs and Lakers. Let's not pretend. But it is, I believe, comforting. That might be the right term. Comforting that other players are able to do what they do. Knueppel, he's a shooter. He's a shooter. Remember the first game?
Against Maine?
Yeah.
Like 18 points?
Feels so long ago, right?
A minute.
College basketball, we used to go, remember his freshman year? And that was like how far he's come. Now it's like, hey, remember 2 months ago? Knueppel hit a 3, but he also hit one where the arms came out before the bucket hit the net. And it was like, wow, this kid's a shooter. Look at the confidence. Oh, my God, what is he going to do for spacing for everybody else? Then he hit a shooting slump. And we talked about it. He's 5-star from Wisconsin, right? Is projected to be a lottery pick. It might be, and I don't say this like jokingly, the first time he had like a real in-game shooting slump. Not saying he didn't have bad shooting games on like the AAU circuit, but a multiple kind of people start saying, aren't you the shooter? Like, that might have been the first time in his life that happened on any kind of, large scale. Well, over the last 4 games, he's 50% from 3. And he's starting to heat up as far as scoring the basketball. And that is A, good patience, B, self-confidence, right? Didn't waver. It's confidence from the coaching staff. Because there were points where Knueppel was not shooting it great, and Isaiah Evans was coming off the bench and hitting like 2 threes in 4 minutes and then going back to the bench every game. And John Shire did not go, all right, he'll be the spacer now. Right, you go figure out your shot. He's going to be the guy knocking down jumpers. There's a lot to like about the rest of the cast. I hate calling it a supporting cast because, they're like, the 13th best recruit in the country is now just some
a guy
like sign holder tree number 2 on the school playlist. Like, you get to be spear carrier. No, these guys are some of the top recruits, best players in the country. Kaman Malawash over the last 2 games. 2 double-doubles. 2 first career, 2 double-doubles, right? He's starting to put together how he can be effective, even though the 15 rebounds against Miami, I think like 8 of them, Miami didn't even try for. They were just like, all right, we'll get back on defense. We're down by 20. And he just uncontested rebounds. But, hey, 15 rebounds for 15 rebounds. We don't do that for everybody else. Like, as Malawash develops, as Knueppel develops, Isaiah Evans getting more of a secure role. We saw Patrick Gumba for the first time really getting extended minutes yesterday. I don't know if that'll work into the rotation, but with Malik Brown out, he ended up playing more than he normally does, and that can only help a player's development. And on that path, we have John Shire talking about the players stepping up for Malik Brown in his absence.
It's just an opportunity to find something. And for Pat, we have such belief in Pat as a player. Pat has not been afforded the time that most freshmen have had based on his injury. And so he's still, I thought he gave us some really good minutes. He's still working through stuff, and I thought he just gave us a big lift. Thought he played really good defense for him to get these minutes. Like, he'll take another jump the next game. We weren't able to look at the lineup with Gillis, with Mason and Cooper together much, but Mason, played the 5-some for us, which I thought was a good look. And then obviously just everybody else stepping up. We need them to be ready.
stepping up. That was, to me, the story going into the game, was how they were going to handle the Malik Brown absence. Where were those minutes going to go? Would they experiment with the lineup? Gumbo was the guy that kind of got the most of those opportunities, and I think he did solid, which is, hey, don't go in there trying to reinvent the wheel. It was all right. And then, of course, the story became, oh, they're shooting the lights out. This is going to be over fast. To be completely honest, right? Because I always say I watch every game I talk about. I didn't watch the first couple minutes of this one. I was putting my son down, had some stuff to do. End up coming downstairs and turning on the game. I think it was 9-8 Duke, and I went, whoa, look at Miami. All right, maybe this won't be a blowout like I thought it was.
And then they scored 12 straight.
Sit down, settle in, right? Go get the computer, grab a glass of water, sit back down. Never mind. It is exactly the game I thought it was going to be. It really was that quick, and it was because guys like Knueppel were knocking down threes, and when that happens, it just opens up everything. John Shire talked about the offense and when it is at its best.
We've, found out how good we can be when we share it, and I think our guys have fell in love with that, and we continue to do it. Cooper's passing, I thought was terrific. He also had some plays where he knows he needs to be stronger and tighter and all that, but I think he's a big reason. But I thought really all our guys, like even though it doesn't translate to assists, like Tyrese had 2 assists, I thought he had a lot more passes that led to something good. And so that's something we try to emphasize. It's not just the assists, it's just making the right basketball play.
I thought, and this is where I get kind of wishy-washy and romanticize the game. I thought it was kind of appropriate. I guess Hubbard, their walk-on off the bench, is kind of a crowd favorite. I just watching the game, you got that vibe. When they blow teams out and he gets in home games, crowd goes nuts. Every time I've been around a college basketball team, when the crowd favorite walk-ons get in, there's one chant, there's one thing, shoot it, right? They want him to score. Hubbard drove to the bucket and drew the defense, kicked it out for an open 3. I'm going like, this offense right now against Miami, like I said, they were playing better than even I think they are. They're in such a rhythm that the walk-on, they're supposed to come in and just jack up shots. Like that's your role. Knock down a 3, get the crowd into it at the end of the shot clock. Made the right basketball play and got a 3 for one of the only returners in Caleb Foster. Just everything was going Duke's way. Sorry, Miami. You're now 4-13 and right at the dead bottom of the ACC. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Cal, not much further away from the dead bottom of the ACC. They're playing UNC tonight, and I did some real evaluating, some self-evaluating about how we talked about UNC yesterday. And I think they are playing for something very important against Cal tonight. I'll tell you what that is next.
The Adam Gold Show.
Look, I love the fact that the Tar Heels have won their last 2 games. Here's what I am worried about, though. They're doing it without being able to rebound the ball on the offensive end. They have to get second chance points. That's what their offense has been built on forever. Since I have been alive, they have lived on the offensive glass. This team can't do it. They just don't have enough size.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
You know what you deserve? The joy of a remote start. Sound Station and Security can install remote start systems in your car. Start your car from inside your house while you eat breakfast, and it's all toasty warm by the time you get inside. Or on those hot summer days that are sure to come, start your car and get the air conditioning running so you don't sweat. A remote start system is an awesome treat, and you can get it at Sound Station and Security with 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group, and we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. 2025 needs to start clean. Get all that dirt from 2024 out of your carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, every surface in your house, because in 2025, we're starting Zero Resified. Biggest sale of the year. 3 rooms of carpets cleaned, starting at just $109, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning while you're at it. Offer is open through January 31st, so visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000.
It's the new year. Time to make a positive change in your life.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life.
Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted. Not available in Washington State.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Patayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Taylor going to drive hard against Cadeau. He shot blocked by Jalen Washington. Into the hands. Washington has it. That's it. Wow. The horn sounds. Jalen Washington with a double-double and the game-sealing block.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, going a cappella with the highlight. There's the music. Sometimes you got to do it a cappella, pentatonic style. Shout out to Pitch Perfect. UNC beat NC State. You just heard the highlight. Jalen Washington sealed it with the block. He also had the go-ahead bucket at the other end. Yesterday, during Copper Drop, for those of you that weren't listening, Dennis asked if UNC will make the NCAA tournament, and I dropped it. And insight into my brain, when those tough decisions happen, right? Yeah. And you want a little window into my brain? No, you don't, but I'll keep it the side that won't scare you. When you have to make those tough decisions, and I don't like making them, I like rooting for all the local teams. I run it over a couple times, right? Maybe read a couple articles, look in the stats. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I realized there was a little bit of a blind spot. So I don't necessarily think I'm changing my mind, but I do want to bring up something that they have going for them that I can work with. And when I say I can work with, it means when it becomes bubble time and we're doing the bracketology arguments and I want to sit somewhere and yell into a microphone all the reasons why UNC should be in, and you got to pick, they got to be over, I don't know, Mississippi State or something, right? Just some other bubble team from some other conference. I don't know if they're a bubble team or not. There is something I can work with. The thing that drove me towards saying, like, they're going to have to win the ACC championship. They're backed all the way into a corner. They're going to have to beat Duke maybe twice to get in was they don't have – they essentially have one thing you might consider a good win. Right, all of the games against the worthwhile opponents in their non-conference schedule, they weren't able to pull out the win. They played one of the few good ACC teams, at least thus far, in Louisville. They lost that game, and I'm looking at it going, they have UCLA, and that's it. How can I be that confident in a team that doesn't really have any good wins? But in my kind of reassessing, I realized that's only half the story. They also don't really have any bad losses. They have a handful, like a decent amount of L's in the win-loss column, but the graphic that I always think of, right? When you get to bracketology season, there's like Seth Greenberg, Jay Billis, and a host on ESPN. They have some graphic that looks like a chalkboard that says bracketology's in session, and they put up the graphic for each bubble team, and it says good wins, bad losses, top wins, worst losses, whatever they end up labeling them. And you want to have a couple good non-conference games. You want to have like a massive conference road game in your good wins. And the bad losses, I don't know what you put there for UNC. I have all of their losses in front of me and their current rankings in the AP poll. They lost to number 9 Kansas, number 1 Auburn, number 12 Michigan State, number 4 Alabama, number 5 Florida, and Louisville, who's also receiving votes in the AP Top 25, and you could argue is the second best team in the ACC right now. So they've lost to nothing but top 12 teams and top 2 or 3 in the ACC teams. That's all they've lost to. There's not a bad loss in that bunch. I can work with that. When I'm making an argument, I know where I'm living if I'm arguing for UNC right now. I'm not talking about how, well, top how many wins. The wins, they've proven that they are good. They've proven that they are better than the other also-rans. They win the games they should win. I can work with that. And that's, unfortunately, you put that on the line a lot more than you do the big wins. In the ACC, if you're going to beat the teams, you should win. If you're going to beat the bad teams, shoot, that's going to be every game. Cal tonight. It's a perfect example. Cal's not scaring anybody, right? Cal's not gonna dominate anybody. Win the game. Because the other thing that UNC has happened that has drawn down my confidence in them is the games they should win, they sometimes squeak them out. They beat Dayton by 2, Georgia Tech by 3, Notre Dame by 1, NC State by 2. So it doesn't necessarily even feel like they're a team that has no bad losses. Because some of those games, it's like, I mean, I know you won, but yikes. But they have avoided disaster. They've found a way, despite not playing their best, to win the games they should win. Cal is another opportunity to get a bad loss or to do what you're supposed to do. Hubert Davis, their head coach, talked about the scouting report on their new conference opponent, the Cal Bears.
From an offensive standpoint, they do a really good job of getting to the free throw line and they shoot a really good percentage as a team. So, just like, when we played NC State, one of the emphasis was to be able to defend them and defend them without fouling. And so that's going to be huge for us on Wednesday against Cal. They're also a great offensive rebounding team. And so, we gave up 16 offensive rebounds against NC State. That's just not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be a recipe for success against Cal because even their guards get to the offensive glass. And so those are two areas defensively that we got to be locked in on Wednesday in order to have success against Cal.
Here's my scouting report on Cal. It's a good matchup for UNC. They only have, or let me phrase this a different way. Nobody on their team that plays more than 14 minutes is over 6'9". When you're a team that has struggled with size, when you're a team that has struggled with rebounding, and when you're a team that just had Jalen Washington put together his first double-double and you're hoping to build off of it, I think you want a team that's near the bottom of the standings and doesn't bring a whole bunch of size. They do have Peja Stojakovic's son, who I think we know what the scouting report is on that one, right? Your last name's Stojakovic.
Shooting threes.
There you go. So I can tell you where I think maybe Seth Trimble will be if he's back to his normal defensive self. I can tell you where I think Ian Jackson will be if Trimble needs a breather. Go guard the Stojakovic. Go guard the shooter.
Hubert Davis did say earlier this week he thinks that Ian Jackson can be an elite defender as well.
And we know Seth Trimble can. And Hubert Davis talked about Trimble working his way back to top form after missing a couple games a week or two ago with an injury.
You just have to find a rhythm. The only way that you can find a rhythm in basketball is actually playing. The only way that you can get in shape, basketball shape, is playing basketball. And I was really happy with Seth's activity especially in the second half. You were right. He was able to get steals, deflections, get into the open court, which, Seth is really gifted and really good at. And, it just takes time to get back into that rhythm. And I'm just happy that Seth is back because he is a huge piece of our team. And we need him in so many different areas out there on the floor. And I'm just glad that he's back in the lineup.
If you're working your way back in, I do think defense is kind of a good place to start, right? The jumper, all right, working your way back in. The explosion, we're good. Defense, right? I think that's a good place for him to start. So I wouldn't be surprised if he draws some, maybe not as many minutes in the toughest assignments, but I wouldn't be surprised if Trimble makes his impact in this one on the defensive end. So I say all of that to say this. I want to argue for you, UNC. I want to have all of the national analysts be arguing for you to make the NCAA tournament if you're unable to win the ACC tournament. And the way that you give the most ammunition to the people that are interested in defending you in bracketology is to continue no bad losses. I want that graphic that has 3 best wins, 3 worst losses. I want the best wins to have UCLA and whatever else you can put together. And I want the bad losses to have like top 25 teams. Mm-hmm. Like I want the worst loss to be the second best team in the ACC. Those things you can build off of.
Can't deny their strength of schedule.
And it's
at least out of conference.
A little gift and a curse there, right? Maybe you would win a few more if you didn't have that tough of a schedule, but I can explain the losses because it was that tough of a schedule. So, and you'll be battle tested when you get there because you would have faced, a whole bunch of really good teams. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is tonight, UNC and Cal. In just a minute or two, we have the Dean's List, but first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The action is heating up this playoff season at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Locking your touchdown picks. Check out trending parlays and increase your winnings with Profit Boost. New customers can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. And unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code RADIO to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Next, the Dean's List. And I'll tell you, at least one person from the Duke smacking of Miami last night did make the list. Stick around.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina.
Game over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 5:30. Puck Drop at 6.
Here come the hats! A natural hat trick for Marty Natchez!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? Hims can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
Just in time for you to have a great new year, it's the Start Something New sales event at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn for 25% off. That's like a quarter of a truck for free. And not just any truck, a shiny new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn. See dealer for details. Make this your best year yet. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Homeowners, it's time to start fresh in 2025. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is here to help you take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payment and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto. Lock in a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Too strong, the rebound for Foster. Looking to push the pace. 5 on 4. Foster to the right, Cooper to the corner, Knueppel again. Why not? Timeout Miami! 12 straight!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis, I need an explanation. Are we coming out of the break with a little Dolly?
Yeah, we are.
All right. There it is.
Hey, the folks that make the Dean's List have been putting that work in.
At 9 to 5. I've heard this. We don't do it for our son. Maybe we should. That Dolly Parton has some kind of philanthropic thing where if you sign up, she'll send your kid a book every month until they're like 5.
Yes, actually, my sister has done that.
There you go. So, we're talking Dean's List here. We're talking like honor roll. We're praising academics. Dolly's supporting the cause. She also has Dollywood, which is kind of cool. You got your own amusement park. What else is kind of cool is the Dean's List. Let's go ahead and put class in session here, highlighting those that deserve praise. Those that deserve to be commended, either players that are under the radar that deserve some praise or maybe some reasons that are under the radar for some praise. Has to be college, obviously. Student, school, university, Dean's List, you get it, honor roll. Yeah. This player's not under the radar, but I think the reasoning is. Knueppel. Knueppel, 6 of 8 from 3, 25 points, career high for Duke against Miami last night. The reason why he makes the list isn't just because he scored 25, right? That's easy. That's simple. That's surface level. I think it's because of what he's gone through this season, which is a shooting slump, and he's, to be quite frank, there wasn't always the best press, right? And I know what's everybody going to say. You don't check your name on social media. Don't read the headlines. It's not like there's a lot of other Knueppels running around there, right? Like the name is unique. He's going to notice it out of the corner of his eye when he's scrolling on social media, right? When he's watching ESPN. So to fight through that and be shooting it well on the other side, that bodes well for your future as an athlete. I talk about it with quarterbacks where I don't know if you're a legit quarterback until the league figures you out once and you answer back with success, right? Once the league figures out what you do well and then defensive coordinators have the blueprint, and then you counter to that, that's when I know you're good. For a shooter, like, I don't know if you're a good shooter until I see you slump. And then once you come out on the other side of that and you're as good or better than you were before, sky's the limit. So shout out to Knueppel for Duke. You make the Dean's List. This one is 1/3 going back to his team. I have 3 teams here that are sharing a Dean's List honor. Duke, Louisville, and Clemson. There were 3 ACC basketball games last night. Duke beat Miami, Louisville beat Syracuse, Clemson beat Georgia Tech. That's what we need out of the top of the ACC. Right? I just did a whole segment a couple minutes ago arguing basically to UNC, going like, give me something I can work with. When I'm arguing for the the ACC, I need you to give me some ammunition. Louisville can't lose to Syracuse and then have me turn around and argue for Louisville against a SEC school or a Big 12 school. Right? Clemson can't lose to Georgia Tech and then have us sit around and go, the ACC should get 5 teams in, and one of them should be Clemson.
Yeah, lead 8 team from last year, right? Let's go.
Exactly. Hey, Ian, the Shefflin, the big boy. Like, if we're going to be able to paint the narrative for you, you have to handle the basics. So last night there were 3 ACC games. You could argue Duke, Louisville, and Clemson are the 3 best teams in the ACC based on what they've put on the floor this year. I don't think they're the most talented, but like their resume is the best right now. All 3 got a win last night, which means the ACC avoided some potholes. And I appreciate you for giving me something to work with when I argue for the ACC. Dennis, do you have a Dean's List that you want to add on here?
I was going to say Mason Gillis.
It's a good one.
Had a strong day yesterday for Duke. Decided to light it up from outside, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's weird because he's the reigning Big Ten 6th man of the year, and it's all of a sudden he's like the 8th or 9th guy at Duke.
Yeah, the transfer portal is a funny place because you would think somebody like Mason Gillis, who was the 6th man of the year in the Big Ten, you brought it up for a Final Four team.
At Purdue.
Yeah.
It's a national title game.
And you'd think if he hits the portal, he'd be looking for a bigger role. Like anywhere else, I would have been in the starting lineup. They'd be the 6th man. He goes to Duke where he's 7th, 8th man. Like it's when Malik Brown's healthy. There's like he took a downgrade in the role a little bit there. So when he had the chance, he did make some plays, knocked down a bunch of threes. He's averaging just under 5 points per game. So long way to go to get to his totals from last year. I have 2 more here. I'm going to save the best for last. Similar to the 3 teams in ACC basketball getting the win, I'm throwing this one divided up 3 ways to Cam Ward, Donovan Ezeraku, and Noel Williams. They are the 3 representatives from the ACC on ESPN's College Football American team.
Let's go.
Cam Ward, quarterback. Most important position.
Let's go.
From the ACC. Ezeraku, edge rusher from BC. One of the most important positions.
Let's go.
From Cal. That's right, ACC, Cal. Corner, Noel Williams. One of the most important positions.
Let's go.
I'm just saying, we might not have 10, 12 All-Americans. We got 3 important ones, though. Corner, edge rusher, quarterback. That's how we do it. And then last one. This one's close, personal to my heart. Ryan Carty, head coach, Delaware Blue Hens.
Oh.
Signed an extension about 24 hours ago. He is tied to the program until 2030. Back-to-back 9-win seasons. Carty, I'm a big fan of Carty. I think his offense is very modern, and we can do some damage with it as my Delaware Blue Hens jump from the FCS levels to Conference USA. Watch out, FBS. We're coming for you. He also hired my old teammate Pat Calloway as the GM of the program. I never thought Delaware would get big enough to have a GM. So, hey, ride the train. Fight for Delaware. That's just personal. Wanted to get it in there. Dean's List. Shout out to Coach Carty. Class dismissed. Except for Delaware, guys. Get back in class. Get your grades up in the offseason so you can focus on football next fall.
So they can get picked off in the transfer portal.
That does happen quite a bit. Hey, UNC got a defensive line from Delaware.
They did.
People complain because I'm very pro transfer portal. This is just a quick little aside. I'm very pro transfer portal. I'm very pro players getting the chance to live out their dreams, whatever those dreams are. And if they make a bad decision for them, I kind of think that's the way it goes, right? If I'm
adults make bad choices.
Exactly. If I'm putting a bad decision, I want it to be because I made a bad decision, not because somebody else made a bad decision for me or I wasn't able to make a decision. And people always go, well, what do you think that does for the smaller teams? They're just going to be the farm system. I played at Delaware. I am a diehard Delaware fan. It's the only team I don't gamble on because I'm like, no, I'm already invested enough. I don't want to – if they lose, I want to feel bad. I don't want to go, well, they lost, but, at least I made $50. It's really one of the only last fandoms I have because in this business you have to be objective in so many ways. You kind of lose some of your fandoms. There was a point in time, and I think it was 4, where our basketball team had 4 consecutive CAA, the Colonial Athletic Association, our conference, 4 consecutive freshmen of the year in basketball, and none of them played their sophomore year for Delaware. They were freshman of the year, South Carolina, freshman of the year, Temple, freshman of the year, and they just jumped to wherever they could go in the portal. And I'm still pro transfer portal, right? Do I wish those guys would have stayed? Heck yeah. Could have had 4 great players on the team at the same time if they all would have stayed. Am I bummed that we didn't get to see what that team would look like? Yes. But I also understand if Delaware wants those guys to stay, they have to level up as a program. Right, kind of what I was talking about with football. If you don't want players to jump because they've always dreamed of playing FBS football, then you have to jump from the FCS to the FBS. So now if their dream was to play FBS, they'll stay. And if their dream was to play in the ACC, Delaware, you better keep getting better. You better keep working. You better keep putting the right people there. So the ACC wants to bring you in. Like, that's the only way I look at it. Right? It's similar to and actually, I forget what I was listening to. And they brought it back up. All the flag planting that Dennis here is such a fan of. And the take was what we've heard a million times. You don't want the other team to plant the flag, don't lose. Right? That's kind of the way competitors think about it. If your team is getting crushed by the transfer portal, don't whine and complain and try to make a rule that you're not allowed. The portal has to be more difficult. If your players keep living for the transfer portal, level up your program so they don't want to leave. Oh, they want to go to Bama. All right, then I guess you got to go chase Bama. Right? If you don't want to plant the flag, don't lose the game. That's how I look at it, and my team has been hurt by it. I had teammates where I was going, nobody tell them that they're allowed to transfer. They have like a freshman All-American season. I'm going like, just maybe they don't realize how desired they would be on the transfer market. Don't tell them who would want them. Maybe they won't notice. And there's a bunch of them like that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's jump to NC State, Virginia Tech tonight. NC State, this is the question. And it popped up I try to bring you into like our conversations off air. Is NC State in must-win mode? Is tonight they're playing at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, one of the bottom feeders in the conference. State kind of desperately needs conference wins. Coming off a loss to a rival. Is it must-win mode? Or in a weird way, have wins almost devalued a bit for NC State based on the position they've put themselves in? Because let's take a further step back. After last season's run, they were a Final Four team last year. I don't know if it's been mentioned. I don't know if anybody, they kind of took the
I heard about that.
Sports world by storm there for a little bit. Won the ACC championship, made it to the Final Four. After a season like that, the one-step forward goals aren't really a thing, right? Like, we talk with the Panthers. They had 2 wins last year. Coming into this year, we're going like 6 wins would be gangbusters. Those types of goals where it's like just improve a little bit don't really exist after you come off a Final Four, after you come off a conference championship, right? So the difference for the Panthers from like 3 wins to 5 wins, that's a big deal because they're trying to take steps forward. The difference for NC State between, being 500 in conference and winning, 55% of your games in conference, that's not as much of a big deal because both of them are so far below conference championship and Final Four, which is what you're coming off of. So it's about winning in the postseason, right? That's where they live for at least a couple years as far as judging your season as a success. It's about winning in the postseason. If they're going to do that, if they're going to win in the postseason, an at-large bid is tough in what, I mean, if we're being generous, a 4 or 5 bid league this year. An at-large bid is tough in a generous 4 or 5 bid league into the NCAA tournament when you're 9th or 10th in mid-January. And that's where they are right now, depending on what, in conference record, non-conference record, because obviously bubble resumes would include your non-conference record. They're down there like 9 or 10 out of 17. 18, I guess, Notre Dame. But that ACC tournament is always lurking, right? They learned that last year. That's the golden elixir, right? That's the get-out-of-jail-free card. Here's I guess another way to put this question. If you approached the NC State powers that be, I don't know, coach, players, but really more like an athletic director or something like that, somebody who isn't in the locker room but is heavily invested in the overall success of the program, and you were the sports fairy godmother, the sports like leprechaun, right? You come out and you present a riddle, I have a brain teaser. How does this make you feel? There's 2 options here. There's 2 things you can choose. 1, you're going to lose the next 3 games, but you're going to have an aha moment, an epiphany moment where you see the roles and the way this roster can best be utilized during those 3 games. So you're going to lose 3 games. Not great teams. You're not going to build momentum. They're not going to be close losses against, you're going to lose them, and they're going to be losses and losing and losses, and it's lost. But you're going to have that epiphany moment. Or you can win 2 of the next 3, but not figure that out, right? Ugly wins. The opposing team one of the wins is going to come because the opposing team has the flu running through them, and they're cramping up. You're not playing any better than you're playing right now, but you win 2 of the next 3 games. Which would you take? I think they might consider that offer. Hem and haw and might go with the 3 losses, but the epiphany. And they're still looking for that aha moment, and it is quintessential that they find it. If there was an aha moment for State last year, it was the last possible second. It was down 12 to Louisville on Tuesday of the ACC tournament. The light bulb came on. If they could find that sooner, trust me, it would make everybody a lot more comfortable. Kevin Keats was asked, is his team close to putting it together? Obviously, being the head coach, he would know, and here was his answer.
There's a thin line between being 3-2 and 2-3, and I completely understand that. But we've closed some games off. We've had some great defensive stops at the end. You look at Notre Dame, we scored, and the Notre Dame game was kind of a little bit opposite of, the way the Carolina game ended. But I do like where we are. I think we're starting to put it together a little bit more defensively than we are offensively. But, in those 4 games, and I'm talking about our 4 ACC games, those were all games that could have went either way. And right now we're 2-2 in those, and hopefully we can build on the ones that we won, not the 2 that we lost.
There's a fine line. Yep. There is. Right? The sports, one play here or there, you never know which one's going to be the decision, which one's going to be the deciding factor. State's still looking for that moment. So tonight, they're playing Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, like I said, not a bully in conference. So even if it's a win, it's not like a big win, right? If you win the game, you're not going to go, hey, if we beat them, we can beat anybody. That's not the confidence-building turning point. But it's another opportunity to search for that eureka. Corey Smith, Pack Pride, was at Kevin Keats' media availability. He tweeted out a quote, said, I think you'll see more of those guys on the floor and an increased minutes role. The question being asked was about the freshmen, Paul McNeil, Trey Parker, Bryce Hurd. That's one way you can search, right? Like, you never know which is going to be that piece that you drop it in, and all of a sudden everybody connects. You ready for this reference, Dennis?
Go on.
Unite like Voltron? Did I do it right?
Getting closer.
All right.
Getting there.
Right.
You're getting there.
I did see that people on
Connect like Voltron.
People on social media are giving me a hard time for not knowing Voltron. I still don't really, but
it's okay. It's fine.
There's time.
Your son might enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to revisiting all the kids stuff as he hits that age. The point I'm getting at here is, and I shouldn't have gone down the Voltron because I can't go into in-depth enough of the analogy and have it make sense. But my point is, you never know what that like keystone species is, right? The bumblebee. If you this one, there's potential here for a show new theory. The bumblebee. What does everybody say about the bumblebees? I don't know if you've gotten all the warnings. We need to save the bumblebees.
Yeah, save the bees.
Because you don't realize that, like, if the bees go extinct, all of a sudden, like, we're never gonna have like a snow day again. I don't even know. Like, the environment is so connected that if the bees die, then there's no way the tigers are gonna live. And it's like, what? How does that all? It's
a very delicate ecosystem.
The bee. Here. It's that. I think a lot of sports, a lot of team sports, they have like bumblebee players, where it's like you may watch and go like, I don't know, he's kind of annoying. He's a pest. Sometimes he stings. I guess I don't. Like, that's all he does, right? And you take him out, and all of a sudden, like, the leading scorer can't score. And you're, wait, how the heck is this that ecosystem is that delicate, huh?
Sounds like we found a new term for glue guy.
Yeah, I can't just go along with what everybody else says. Everybody else calls it a glue guy. I call it a bumblebee player. But you never know, right? Mixing in some freshmen, Paul McNeil, he's a shooter. Trey Parker, Bryce Hurd brings some size. You're not sure which of these guys you're going to drop in, and all of a sudden everybody else goes like, oh, the bumblebee's back. Let's go. Let's fire up the entire environment again. Let's make some habitats, shall we? Is that not how animals in the animal kingdom talk?
Sure.
Maybe not. The point is, they're going to keep trying, and if you told me that a night like tonight was a loss, but one of those freshmen shows that he could be a missing piece, I'd consider that trade if, the sports goblin, sports leprechaun gave me that option. Do you know what else these two teams will always be connected for?
What's that?
February 2nd, 2019. I remember this game vividly because I was actually covering Virginia Tech at the time at a previous stop, trying to work my way up to this market. These two teams, Virginia Tech 47, NC State 24.
Oh, gosh, that was the game.
The lowest scoring game in the shot clock era.
That's right. They only scored 24. That was this game. Oh, wow, that was 5 years ago.
It's 2019, yeah.
Wow.
So no matter how ugly this game is.
That's like Frank Beamer.
It was
0-0 going into overtime.
Yeah, when Virginia Tech's always involved.
Yeah.
It is a no matter how ugly tonight is, if you get the win, if you get the loss, it will not be the ugliest game in this series history. I remember even, because like I said, I was covering Virginia Tech at the time, and I even remember being confused. Like, they won the game by 20, and I left going like, I don't think anybody should be proud of that. I think you hide that one. Yeah, I don't know. It's like when you get a trophy, and it's like you finished in 7th place, and it's like you're out of 7. It's like, yeah, I don't know if I should display that trophy. I don't know if you display that one. But it is between these two teams that are playing tonight. So, they do have some shared history. 24 points in a game, 47 for the winner, lowest scoring game in the shot clock era.
They shot 16.7%, NC State did in that game. 9 of 54.
That's not good. That's not good at all. Not even a little bit. Marcus Hill might score 24 tonight. Like, there might be a player for NC State that can score as many points as they scored in that entire game. That just shows how crazy that game was. Kevin Keats, the coach, talking about the development of the transfer, Marcus Hill.
We're starting to move him around in different spots, and I like the way he's playing. And, I said this, as he gets comfortable, you can put him in different spots and understand that part of it. But, you'll see him play some point, between him, Breon Pass, Trey Parker, and obviously, and Michael, we're going to shift him around and play some different, move him in different spots.
I like to hear that. just because I think it sets the hierarchy of shooters, right? Like if Marcus Hill is the guy being featured and being moved around and being put into the shooter positions, everybody can kind of understand, all right, coach has chosen him as the main character in the scoring front. I still think they're just sorting through so much for State right now. There's so much uneasiness into what your role is going to be game to game. A game like on the road, by the way, I always like road games for teams finding themselves, right? If you got to find your identity, it's better to do it when it's us against the world. So it's a good opportunity for them tonight to do some of that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have football at 4 coming up next. I'll tell you why. Speaking of NC State, NC State football is having the exact opposite offseason of last year. Is that a good or a bad thing? Next.
Move your sports day forward.
For as much as we've lamented the fact that it's like every time you turn a Duke game on or you hear people talk about Duke, whenever it happens to happen, we do talk about the Blue Devils because, we're a local show. We talk about State and Carolina. But when you talk about Duke, you have to talk about Cooper Flag first. It pretty much has to be the first thing out of your mouth.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy. And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
What's this?
We're expanding the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club.
That's a pretty big wrecking ball.
Well, with all these new scratch-offs, this place is going to be packed with new winners. Okay, let's go ahead and knock this wall down. This is where we're putting the polo field. Whoa, patience, Trixie.
This month's tickets are loaded with $150 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 3.31 to 4.55. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending and Carey. Way back in the mid to late 80s, rates were all over the map, much as they are today. And what bothered me the most was seeing homeowners constantly chasing lower rates by paying upwards of $15,000 in closing costs each time. There had to be a better way, considering no one was keeping their new loan long enough to truly benefit. So it was during that time that Miller Lending discovered a way to offer a true no closing cost loan. With nothing charged or rolled in, customers were now able to realize immediate savings, as even a drop of 0.5% could save them thousands of dollars over the life of a new loan. Imagine eliminating the need for timing as you simply close on today's rates and refinance as soon as something better comes along. Fact is, Miller Lending hates closing costs. So before you throw away thousands of dollars chasing a rate you may not like a year from now, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 2502146.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. 2025 needs to start clean. Get all that dirt from 2024 out of your carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, every surface in your house. Because in 2025, we're starting Zero Resified. Biggest sale of the year. 3 rooms of carpets cleaned, starting at just $109, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning while you're at it. Offer is open through January 31st, so visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Pretty chilly for us out there, even with all that sunshine. Our high temperature just 40 degrees, and it's cold tonight, down to 21. Tomorrow, we'll see partly cloudy skies with high temperatures closer to 50.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 703 points to 43,221.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. NC State is having the exact opposite offseason as last year, which probably sounds like a good thing, right? If you had a year that tremendously underwhelmed, right, did not live up to expectations, then there is probably part of you that's like, I would like to have the exact opposite of whatever we had last offseason because it led to last season. I don't think that's exactly the way you hope it goes. Last season, there was a pretty good argument that NC State won the offseason. Right? You hit the transfer portal, you spent a bunch of money, you brought in a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, another receiver, an offensive lineman, a this, a that, a tight end, all of it, and they were all ranked high, and everybody was excited, and every ranking had you high. Last year was an all-in portal. This year, it's kind of an all-out portal. Not saying they haven't gotten anyone in, but the net total, there's a lot more out than in the transfer portal for State this year. Don't believe me? I have someone to back it up. On3 website. It's a website that tracks NIL and transfer portal about as well as anybody. They have something they call the team transfer portal rankings. You can sort them by year. You can sort them by conference. So the 2025 college football ACC team transfer portal rankings, which they describe as this proprietary algorithm determines if a school has improved its overall team talent, stayed the same, or declined in talent during the transfer window. Sounds like something that would be of interest. There are 17 teams in ACC football in the transfer portal rankings that are designed to decide if your team has gotten better or worse. NC State ranks out of 17 teams 17th. Womp, 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 right? And it's, I'm sure there were some of you out there that even with my whole setup, my big dramatic, like, they rank, you knew it was going to be bad. You were probably thinking, like, what are we, 12th? We're only ahead of Syracuse and Boston College. Like, shoot it to me straight. You're dead last. And before you say, well, what do they know? I think if you just do the scan, right? I didn't read the book, but right before the test, I flipped through. You'd get the gist. Tamarcus Cooley, cornerback, would have been, if he came back to NC State, the highest graded PFF defender, defensive player for NC State. Hit the portal, LSU. Bishop Fitzgerald, safety, hit the portal, USC, like Southern Cal. Devin Boykin, safety, was hurt all this year, but pretty good earlier in his career. Hit the portal, Indiana. Brandon Cisse, cornerback, hit the portal, This time it's USC like South Carolina. They're going to other good programs. They're cashing if you're looking at NIL expectations. There are many different ways the world is telling NC State that they're losing value during this transfer portal window. There are those like On3, 247. There are those that do the rankings that are saying it. And then there's also like common sense, common logic. There are only a few times as an athlete when you truly learn your value in sports. There's only a few times when it's like quantifiable, right? Your coach is going to say, hey, we love you, we need you, you're important. That's just words. There's only a few times when you truly learn your value. One of them is when you're being recruited. Right, when how much attention you're getting from coaches, how quickly they offer, how often they're on your campus, all of that, they're showing you how valuable you are to them. Another is when you're being drafted. Right, you're picked in the first round. Hey, guess what? The team thinks you are a first round value. One is when you sign a new contract. Right, there's a dollar amount attached to how much they think you're worth, and then the last is when you're traded. Right, you get traded for a player and a pick. You are worth that player's value and that pick combined. That's how it goes. Now you can add when you hit the portal. When you hit the portal, you learn your value. NC State learned those 4 secondary members are good. Do you know why? Because they went to good schools. Because they went to programs with options. They went to programs with high budgets. They went to programs that have had success. There is like the same logic works in opposite ways, in that one of the arguments for Bryce Young's rookie year not being his fault is he had very little of a supporting cast. And now that we're a year removed from his rookie year, you're starting to hear, what did DJ Chark do this year, right? Nobody wanted to get him the ball. See, told you he wasn't good. The same would work in reverse, right? If somebody left your school and everybody wanted him and they play a whole bunch for a good team, might be like, you know what, he was good. I don't know. We may have underestimated that guy a little bit. One example, Brashard Smith, the running back for SMU. He was at Miami, okay, for 3 years, essentially playing wide receiver.
Yeah, he was a wideout.
And they weren't even feeding him the ball a bunch on like screens and getting him in space. He was just like a depth piece wide receiver. He goes to SMU, rushes for like 1,300 yards for a team that makes the college football playoff, and he's like lighting up the stat sheet. I think Miami's probably looking at that one going like, I think we let one get away there. We probably could have used that guy. Maybe we would have been in the college football playoff. State has a lot of guys hitting the portal, and they're not dropping down to the FCS level. That's the challenge. That makes last year a little bit tougher, right? If you have a whole bunch of players, and not to mention like the KC Concepcion getting to Texas A&M, like they've had other players go other places. If you have a team assembled where they hit the portal and everybody wants them, but you were barely bowl eligible, that says something about what you were able to get out of your talent last year. Now, when those players leave, unless you are replacing them with more accomplished or more high ceiling, more talented players, you're just now at a disadvantage where next year you're going to have to do even more with less. Now, you won 6 games this past year with all of these guys. 8, 9? Like what's the baseline for success next year? You have to win more games, and these guys aren't coming back. And not to mention a surprising amount of them. Casey Concepcion, Brandon Cisse, at least those two. They all had like little brothers that were committed to State, and when they hit the portal, I'm decommitting. It's like, all right, we lost 1.5 players. How did that happen?
I also want you probably know this more than I do. I didn't look it up, but I also want to know where they ranked NC State did last year in terms of getting better via the transfer portal last year, because you and I talked about it. I was like, wait, you got 5-star Noah Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
You brought in quarterback from Coastal Carolina.
Grayson McCall.
Yeah, Grayson McCall.
Jordan Waters.
Like, you brought in like all these guys, right?
Wesley
all
Grimes.
these studs. Like the number 1 tight end and Justin Jolie. What did it get you? 6 wins.
That is
now again. That's part of that's also on coaching, but also again, how do these guys actually fit into what you're trying to do? That's also a big part of it as well. So, yeah, we can talk about the rankings of what On 3 and stuff might say, but does it work? Does it fit? I mean, gosh, there are plenty of teams around. Look at Florida State, for example, brought in like everyone transfer in, and they sucked.
Well, actually, that's ironic because State, I brought it up from last year, same rankings we talked about, the proprietary algorithm to see who improved the most.
Sure.
State was third last year. That's kind of what I was saying earlier, in that there is some logic to be like, what did we do last year? Let's do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
There also is some, like, I don't want to blame, like, I get in this argument every year, and it's usually with, I don't know, someone on Twitter, and I can't drop it, so we go back and forth 900 times. By the way, follow us on Twitter, at 999TheFan. I'm at Donnelly Sports. Dennis is at TheFanRookie. If you want to debate, it's a good place to find us, about recruiting stars, meaning like 5-star, 4-star, 3-star recruits. Because there's always someone that says, doesn't matter how many stars there are. And I'm like, no, that's true in individual cases. There are Josh Allens out there that were no stars that probably should have been 4 stars, right? There are every team has the walk-on that becomes the great. But guess what? There's also a ton of statistics that say you are exponentially more likely to be all conference if you're a 5-star than if you're a 3-star. And they're like the percentage of players on your team that are 4 and 5 stars directly correlate to whether you can win a national championship or not. Like, those things exist. So, yes, it's not a foolproof way to be successful. There will be busts and there will be bad, lower ranked players that end up being stars. But if you have a bad season, I don't think it's the smartest thing to blame bringing in the higher ranked players. I think it's more likely you blame how you developed them, the mixture of which you brought in, which players you kept, which maybe positions you neglected. Because I will say this. Last year, NC State was third in the transfer portal index on 3 in the ACC. That was overwhelmingly offense, right? Highly ranked quarterback, highly ranked running back, highly ranked tight end, highly ranked wide receiver, highly ranked offensive lineman in Zeke Correll, the center. Lot of offense. It was very apparent early on that the way that program wants to run is you need to have a stout defense. They didn't have that. So I don't know if it's like, hey, we were third in the rankings. Maybe it's like, hey, we need to also not ignore the other side of the ball. That's something to learn on, which losing your entire starting secondary to the transfer portal the following year doesn't exactly bode for like, hey, we learned our lesson. We're going to focus on defense. Although, you know, it's not always the case. Sometimes guys just need a change of pace, change of scenery. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote now with no hard credit pull. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the ladder challenge coming up next. I, again, will be looking to a local team to hopefully make me some money. Stick around.
All playoff roads lead to New Orleans.
Playoff football, baby.
The Wild Cards, the championship games, presented by First Horizon Bank and Wake Med, will be heard here.
Curtis Samuel, 30, bang it inside of the 20, 15-10, slips out of a tackle, touchdown Buffalo! 55 yards! Hot dog, man!
The Triangle's home for Super Bowl 59. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
The new year is here. Time for change. Start a recession-resistant new career in the high-demand fields of IT, cybersecurity, and AI with My Computer Career in just months. Already in IT? Build your cybersecurity skills and prep for thousands of open positions employers nationwide are desperate to fill. Attend classes live online or on campus. Make this your year. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's hockey season, baby. I live and work on both coasts, and here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and $6 Jamesons on Sunday. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? HIMS can help. Get started at hims.com/joy. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy.
Now at Staples. Find hot deals on HP, America's most trusted printer brand. Whether you need to print invoices or eye-catching presentations, HP delivers with exceptional speed, reliability, and vibrant color. And with HP, replenishing ink is simple. Find HP ink cartridges in-store at Staples or subscribe to HP Instant Ink and never worry about running out. And right now with home and office hot deals at Staples, you can save up to $150 on select HP printers through February 1st.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and the playoffs are here finally. And now all customers can get a no-sweat NFL same-game parlay for any game. Just place a 3-leg NFL same-game parlay. You will get bonus bets back if your bet does not win, so have some fun with it. Same-game parlay is the perfect way, the complement, if you will, to the NFL playoffs. Just go to FanDuel.com/AdamGold. That's FanDuel.com/AdamGold for the no-sweat same-game NFL playoff parlay, America's #1 sports book. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max wager $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Burns, right back for Natchez. Natchez to Jarvis, the three scores! Seth Jarvis with the extra attacker. We're tied at 2.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we hit the ladder challenge, try to stay hot. We will be off the air, The Drive will, about 5:30. But guess what? It's for an awesome reason. We're making way for a little matinee edition of Canes hockey. It's a hockey evening in Carolina. 5:30 for Stormwatch with Adam Gold. We'll get you ready for a 6 o'clock puck drop at Buffalo. Canes at Buffalo tonight. We'll talk about that game in a second. Matter of fact, About 15 minutes from now, we have our Canes first goal scorer predictions, and we'll need to get 3 of you officially locked and loaded on your first goal scorer predictions. So start thinking about who will score the first goal for the Canes versus Buffalo.
We already have some predictions on our YouTube live chat.
And in what period. Sorry, we just need 2 pieces of information from you. Who scores the first goal and in what period it is scored. That's what you need for an official entry in about 15 minutes. Now, Dennis, what are we hearing?
Brendan says, going to say Natchez getting the scoring started early in the first period.
Gosh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Natchez. You know what? You know what Natchez needs?
A shot to go past a goaltender?
I would say a 2-goal night. At least one going past a goaltender. Then the second, I don't care. Goalie can be doing cartwheels in the face-off circle for all I care. But he needs a 2-goal night just to completely get off the schneid. Get the first, get the second, get on with life. But that game is coming up right here, 99.9 The Fan. As we said, 6 o'clock puck drop and storm watch prior to that. And first goal scorer predictions will be in about now 14 minutes. So get that thinking out of the way so you're ready to call in at 4:33. Now, ladder challenge. All we're looking to do is hit likely to win bets, 1 a day, roll over the stake, roll over the winnings, and at the end of the month have a nice little fat stack of cash. Whoever has the most at the end of the month, the most cash, wins. We both started with $10. I've lost once, had to go back and start over at 10. Dennis, you are in the lead, so go ahead and let us know what happened last night and what you're going with tonight.
So I had the Vegas Golden Knights plus 2.5 against the Nashville Predators. Vegas lost 5-3. That little extra half there, the hook.
The hook saved you.
Hook saved me.
What's the Blues Traveler song? The hook brings you back.
Yep. And it did. It's funny because I was actually I watched that entire game, believe it or not. Nashville was up 4-0 in that game.
Sweated it out, did you?
I did for a little bit until Vegas got it to 4-3, and I'm like, I'm good. But anyway, that won me $25.60. Tonight, I'm actually going to go with the Canes tonight. Plus 2.5 on the road at the Buffalo Sabres. Minus 1,000 right on the dot. So that $25.60 will roll into $28.10 for me tonight.
So last night, on my side of things, I bet hilariously, because this is supposed to be a easy-to-win bet, minus 500 to minus 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I teased the Duke total, or the Duke spread, all the way down to they were favored by 12.5 after I teased it all the way down to a minus 580 bet. So they were essentially favored. I think it was 24.5 at tip-off. I got all the way down to 12.5, and they won by, 35? So
by a lot.
Felt good about it. And it didn't feel that close. Could have been more. So got that win, open and shut. I'm looking to another local team similarly here today. I want UNC favored by 3.5 versus Cal. That makes it minus 750. They are favored by a little over 15, depending on which book you look at. Against Cal, that says a lot about Cal. It also says, I guess, a lot about what they think is happening at UNC with them kind of figuring out the way some of their players are best utilized. UNC has no bad losses. We talked about it earlier. But also, Cal doesn't have the big guys to take advantage of UNC's kind of biggest deficiency, which is strength and power down low. So with all that being said, I think UNC wins by at least 4. Probably by double digits, which will make it a much more no-stress win for me. That'll turn my $18.41 into $20.86 as I continue to catch up to Dennis.
Keep cashing in, man.
That's the name of the game. Just don't miss. Just don't miss. Got to make 5 shots in 10 seconds. Layups. Don't take threes. Layups. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's Ladder Challenge. Let's jump to one of our favorite segments, Hit It and Quit It. Hit it and quit it. We line up some of the biggest stories in sports. We hit it. We move on. We quit it. I'll get us started. Dennis, I'm posing this to you.
Okay.
Because you're our resident Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Yep.
Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, or other for next season, talking like week 1.
Other doesn't sound great because I know what other is not a lot of great options out there for other. Justin Fields.
You think they're going to give him the shot?
I think so.
Because I believe both of their contracts are up, Russell and Justin. So not only is it you choosing them, they also have to choose you. I know Justin Fields did say that he wants to stay in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But wouldn't be the first time an athlete said that and then went somewhere else.
Sure.
Russell's interesting. Justin Fields is very interesting, in part because of what you said, which is other isn't that appetizing this year.
No, it's not.
Sam Darnold, probably the best free agent option. Kirk Cousins, the budget free agent option, because he's going to be, if he does get cut, which he won't be on Atlanta next year, because Atlanta's going to have to pay him $27 million regardless. The draft doesn't excite me. Cam Ward, probably Shedeur Sanders, maybe. Justin Fields might get a shot. Like if you're the Giants, Brian Daboll, you had success with Justin Fields, with Josh Allen as the OC in Buffalo, which obviously included some quarterback run. When the Giants had their success with Daboll and Daniel Jones was running for 700-plus yards in the season. Justin Fields brings some of that. I wonder if they don't look around and go, yeah, there are not many other options out here. Let's see if we can make it work with old Jay Fieldsy up there. There's a lot of puzzle pieces to shuffle around in this one. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
What? RIP TikTok. I don't know if people saw this. TikTok is going away on Sunday.
I was going to say, I vaguely am aware of what's going on. Is there any details that you can pass along?
Nothing specific.
Okay.
As far as I know, just apparently, unless something drastic happens in the next few days, TikTok in the United States is just going to get shut down.
All right.
It's just what it is. And the reason why I bring this up is because sports leagues, sports teams, even our industry, you want to try and reach your audience, especially younger audiences, where they are.
Yep.
And TikTok for basically age of 25 and younger is a very hot place. And this is where the NHL actually, the reason why I bring this up, NHL saw a lot of growth in the 18 to 24-year-old demographic through TikTok.
Where do they go?
Carolina Hurricanes. Exactly. Where do they go? So the reason why I bring that up is because what are teams like the Carolina Hurricanes or these other, for example, State Duke Carolina, when they're trying to recruit players, stuff that they do to get their product and their name and their brand out there to reach the young audience and the people that they're targeting, what's the next platform for them for this type of vertical medium? Is it just going to be a lot of YouTube shorts that you see? Is it Instagram Reels? Is another platform the consumption of sports? Because a lot of people only consume sports through highlights via social media. Where does that now go?
If there's young people listening, this is where I get to sound like the oldest person in the world. Young people, tell us where you're going.
Yeah.
If you're a TikTok scroller, and I've been assigned by our social media manager a few times, like, hey, doom scroll. Just go scroll on TikTok. Get to know the area. If you do that routinely, let us know where you're going to be heading next, just because I'm curious and I'd like to know. Secondly, I thought of this. You brought up One Vine. I was trying to think of just like massive internet things that were huge and then just gone. I think MySpace is one.
MySpace does still exist.
But does it?
It does, yeah. But not what we use.
Yeah, I was going to say. Vine, another. And then, do you remember Trivia HQ? It was this weird little trivia game that was at the same time every day. Had a real chipper guy with a well-manicured beard, and he just asked questions, and if you got like all 10 right, you split whatever money was available that day with everybody else. And it was like a weird phenomenon, and then it was just gone. It was just, never mind, see ya. Like, can TikTok just disappear like that? There are people who have become like famous off of TikTok and then just, all right, bye. Crazy. Wild.
Bring back Vine.
See, I was never a big Vine guy either.
Loved Vine.
I don't know. I got accounts on every social media because I think it's like, oh, I should because this is what I do. And then I don't know. I just read Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
It means more.
When I say the word gargoyles,
yeah,
what do you think of? Everybody right now, think to yourself, gargoyles. Is it like, I don't even know what era it's from, medieval architecture? Is it that cartoon? There was a cartoon for gargoyles, right?
Yeah, there's a Gargoyles TV show.
See that? I know my animation.
See, you know this, but you don't know
animation.
Voltron.
I don't know Voltron, but I do know that Voltron was a word. Somebody was giving me a hard time about The Last Airbender on Twitter about. I don't like. I've never watched. I don't know it, but I the guy with the arrow on the head, like I recognize what it is.
Oh, okay.
I vaguely am aware of things. I remember Gargoyles.
My cabbages.
How about this? When I say Gargoyle from now on, you think of rough and tumble, North Carolina hockey.
ECHL, let's go.
Greensboro Gargoyles. Part of it, and I think this is a minor league baseball thing that obviously translates to other sports.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get a cool logo. You'll get free merch sales. I know guys that guy I used to work with had just a boatload. He liked wearing baseball hats. A boatload of I think it was like the San Antonio Chihuahuas. He had the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Yeah.
He had all of the he had the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. All of these minor league cool logos, unique, funny kind of conversation pieces. You put together a unique name. You put together a cool hat. People that don't even show up to your game will be ordering them online. You get a little extra revenue stream. Greensboro Gargoyles coming to the ECHL and coming to the hockey state that is the state of North Carolina.
They're going to be playing at First Horizon Coliseum, formerly known as the Greensboro Coliseum. By the way, not the first hockey team to be playing in Greensboro. Obviously, the Carolina Hurricanes got their start there. But also, remember back the ECHL team, the Greensboro Generals. Believe it or not, I've been to a Greensboro Generals game before. They actually had like a little tank that would like ride around on the ice.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Lean into it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be the Gargoyles, you need to have gargoyles.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, granted, we have the Carolina Hurricanes obviously right here in our backyard, but you know what? If you are living halfway between Greensboro and Raleigh, and you know what? You just kind of want to have a fun family outing and go watch a little bit of hockey, might be less expensive to go to a Greensboro Gargoyles game, possibly, just for you and your family. Or if you're in that area, you and your buddies, ECHL hockey, you generally get about 8-9 goals a game, and you might get a fight or two. It's pure entertainment, folks.
I also I think it's two different moods. I think I'm in the mood to go to a Canes game is different than I'm in the mood to go to an ECHL game. It's your I don't know, you feel like a scout at an ECHL game. It's a different vibe. So, whether it's the price or whatever choose. I would suggest if you're a diehard hockey fan, you go to the Canes often. That's awesome. Keep doing that. But also, other sports give you other vibes, and ECHL and the NHL are darn near other sports. Let's quit that. Let's hit this. Last one.
We got better tonight.
All right, final one. It's mock draft season, as you know.
I do. I
love
mock draft.
You love mock draft
You're
season.
Darn right.
Dane Brugler of The Athletic.
One of the better. I like his insight. He usually uses some common sense on his mock drafts.
Has Jalen Walker, Georgia edge rusher, linebacker, going number 8 overall to the Carolina Panthers, who happens to be from where? Salisbury, North Carolina. Bring him home, Tim.
Again, I didn't anticipate this being the segue, but Brugler using common sense, that's the Panthers were linked for a long time when they were drafting at the very top of the draft before they won a couple to Abdul Carter because of what he could do to their pass rush. Abdul Carter's likely going to be gone by pick number 8 when the Panthers are. If they stick where they are, I don't see them straying far from kind of that archetype, right? And Walker is another guy, wasn't used exclusively as an edge rusher at Georgia, but has some explosiveness and ability. So I wouldn't be surprised there. There's a few other options, right? But, Brugler, just like every mock drafter, has to pick. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's Walker. Still a lot of combine to go for him, though. If he has a great 10-yard splits on the 40-yard dash and he's got a great vertical and looks good in drills, he could rise a little bit there as well.
We'll find out. I'm excited for it, if that is possible, because the one thing that the Carolina Panthers have done under Evero that I have hated, I hate's a very strong word, hey, let's make these guys who are actual defensive ends and let's play them as outside linebackers and have them drop into coverage. Like, hey, Jadeveon Clowney, you want to go drop into coverage? You've never done it in your entire life, but hey, let's have you do it now at age 32.
You know that Jadeveon Clowney is the guy at practice who's like, I'll lock you up to the slot receivers.
Right.
And the coaches were like, what'd you say? Oh, all right, yeah, we'll give you a shot. Yeah. Hey, on third down, instead of rushing the passer, we need you to flip your hips and run with the slot. The H-back. That's it for Hit It and Quit It here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, because it's time for first goal scorer predictions. The Canes, actually more soon than normal at this point in time. They have a puck drop scheduled for 6 o'clock in Buffalo. And anytime there's a show on a Canes game day, one of our shows on a Canes game day, we do first goal scorer predictions. So right now we'll open up the Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now. We need a name, a player who's going to score the first goal for the Canes, and we need a period. First, second, third. Which period will that first goal come? If you get both right, you get the ultimate sim racing experience. That's a gift certificate to Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Located in Carey's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh, visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. Gift certificate to Apex Racing Lab will go to one of our 3 official contestants. We have 3 already on the line. They are ready and raring to go. For everybody that did not make it through to the official contestant category, we do still encourage you to get your predictions in, right? Bragging rights, the honor of knowing that you were right, the boasting, the bragging, all of it. You can send them on our YouTube live stream, 99.9 The Fan live stream. The comments underneath there, Dennis is patrolling them throughout the show. Just put a name and a period and any other specifics you want to give, and if you get it right, we'll give you some love. Chad in Hillsboro on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. You are up first. Chad, who scores the first goal for the Canes, and in what period do they score it?
I'm going to say Natius in the first because it's his birthday.
Is it his birthday? I was unaware. I need to start tracking birthdays. Oh, that would have completely changed my deal. All right, Natius in the first because it's his birthday. Do you have any specifics on it? Is it a gift from the defense? Do they leave him wide open, or does he have to do something special?
No, I'm going to say he's going to be wide open on the side and knock it right in.
All right, well, maybe a gift from one of his teammates. How about that?
Yeah, just turned 26.
Yeah. There you go. Chad, appreciate it, and thank you for the insight. The birthdays, see? I learn something every day. David and Mebane, you are up next. David, who scores the first goal for the Canes, and in what period?
I'm going to go Jarvis in the first, and it's going to be on the power play. Jarvis scores, the Canes win, so I'm going to go with that route.
Jarvis scores, the Canes win. Perfect. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you, but I like it being on the power play as well, although I do think the Canes need to get some even strength mojo rolling. Like they're pretty good on the power play, top half of the league, really good on the penalty kill, but I do think they need some 5-on-5 mojo rolling. Scott and Apex, you are the final official contestants. Scott, who scores the first goal and in what period?
I'm going with Stahl in the first.
You think Stahl keeps it rolling even though Stahl weekend has come to a close?
I think it's family honor, and I think they need to get rolling for the rest of the season so they can get there, and I think the captain needs to lead the way.
You know what? You need to give a pregame speech. I like it. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. How about that? Natius' birthday, 26. 26. Getting up there in sports years. Not getting up there in real years. That's for darn sure. I'm going to go ahead and give mine, and then we'll get Dennis's once he grabs the info from the contestants. I'm going with Jarvis as well. I'm putting him in the first. I'll go even strength with it. Here's why. I hope Seth Jarvis – a couple weeks ago I told a Larry Bird story, and it was actually Sean Kemp that told the story, and I was echoing it. Sean Kemp basically said one day he had to guard Larry Bird. This is back in the 80s, maybe early 90s. And he said he had to guard Larry Bird, and he woke up the day of the game to guard Bird and play the Celtics. And he saw that the USA Today had written an article that said, Larry Bird has lost it. I'm paraphrasing, right? Larry Bird isn't what he used to be, whatever the headline said. And Sean Kemp knew right there, it's not going to be a good day for me, right? Because he had heard the Larry Bird legends, and he knew how he took those slights and turned them into giant performances. And if you go back and look up the box score to that game, I think it was a 40-point triple-double for Larry Bird, and Sean Kemp had 5 points and 1 rebound. The Athletic put out a list yesterday that had 139 names on it. It was 139 players that they ranked as the best NHL players under the age of 23. So on January 1st, they had to be 22 or younger. 139 names. So I clicked on it thinking, like, let me see if Jackson Blake is on it. Right? Let me see if some of these other prospects for the Canes are on it. I'm scrolling down, and I actually, maybe because he's been around for a while, forgot Seth Jarvis was that young.
Yeah, he's a youngin'.
I'm thinking, hey, he's not even on. And then I get to 25 on the list, and Seth Jarvis is sitting there. I'm going, wait a second. This guy's getting picked for, like, Team Canada. Like this, he's number 25 of players that are 22 years or younger. I hope whoever's guarding him tonight for Buffalo also saw that list and said, oh, no, this is going to be a long night for me, because he's going to take that as a slight, turn it into motivation, go out here and show everybody what they're missing. And he's going to smile with that mustache and say, take that, Athletic. Seth Jarvis in the first period is my pick. Dennis, who are you going with?
You always talk about guys playing their former teams?
I do. I like them when they're playing their home country, their hometown, or their former team.
Eric Robinson playing against his former team, the Buffalo Sabres, in the first period. Give me Eric Robinson, because when he scores, it just happens to be the first goal of the game for the Canes.
If he has 10 goals, 8 of them are the opener. He's always scoring early. Do you know who else is playing their former team?
Dustin Tokarski.
There it is, who it looks like will be in net. He was the first off the ice for the Canes at morning skate, which is an interesting bit of news.
We have a few online.
Let's hear him.
Submissions for first goal scorer. Travis says, feeling a dominant game tonight, starting off with the rookie Jackson Blake. Highlight reel goal about halfway through the first period. Our guy Micah says, first period, Marty Necas on his birthday. Jacob says, Ghost in the first. And Mikhailov says, Svetch early in the first as well.
I like it. Anything, everybody's in a very optimistic mood. They're all like early first. They're all first. They're all power play in the first. I like it. I like the energy of everybody out there. We'll see if it helps. I need that energy for maybe some gambling picks. Everybody send me positive vibes. I'll send them right back. Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook, where we are talking playoffs. You're darn right we are. We're talking football playoffs. We're talking NFL playoffs, because it's the perfect time to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, so you see teams go for it more, right? More fourth downs, more shots downfield, and you can score big when they score big by betting on touchdowns at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. And if you look at a team like Buffalo, I mean, James Cook, Josh Allen, other than that, probably going to get pretty good odds on all of them, and probably a pretty good chance Buffalo scores a bunch because they have Josh Allen and they have James Cook. So, just throwing it out there, might find a player you like there. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD if you are a new customer. TIMD at sign-up, that's TIMD with no spaces. And new customers will get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-5443 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. I'm ready. Everybody listen. Did you hear that silence? That's the sound of calm coming from the Carolina Panthers facility. Is that a good thing? Stick around to find out.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina.
Game over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 5:30. Puck Drop at 6.
Here come the Hats! A natural hat trick for Marty Necas!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Something amazing is happening in networking. Organizations are scaling with less stress. That's because CDW is designing and implementing intelligent HPE Aruba networking solutions that simplify and secure operations. With automation at the center of your data center, growing pains can be a thing of the past. HPE Aruba Networking and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Aruba.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you tried online gaming. Who knew 12-year-old boys could be so mean? And where did they learn to swear like that? 2 hours of losing to these underage trash talkers, and you're starting to question if maybe you really should stick to pickleball and other boomer stuff. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. And right now, Zero Res has the biggest sale ever going on in celebration of the new year. Make sure you get all that 2024 dirt behind and look ahead to 2025. That's right, out the door 2024. We're feeling fresh, clean, and zero-resified in 2025. Right now, the best part is it's all gone from 2024. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery. Basically every surface in your house can be zero-resified and leave that dirt behind. The offer right now, 3 rooms of carpets cleaned starting at just $109 and take an additional $100 off your air ducts cleaning. The offer is valid through January 31st, so be sure to get on it now. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000 and ask for the 99.9 The Fan Station Special. Spell it forward or backward, it spells the same, Zero Res.
Grateful for the opportunity. Just want to do everything I can throughout the week to prepare, put us in the best situation to win and be successful. So just day-by-day mentality.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There's no news coming out of the Carolina Panthers facility right now. Panther fans, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Relax. Pour the metaphorical drink, kick up your metaphorical feet, and enjoy the metaphorical sunset in front of you. Enjoy it. The coaching carousel is turning, and you're not on it. First time in multiple off seasons, you're not on it. If it's a literal carousel, you get to be the parent that won the rock, paper, scissors. You get to stand off to the side, lean on the railing, and take pictures and laugh while your spouse is up there, sitting on a tiny little horse going up and down so your kids can have a good time. Let the Jacksonville Jaguars look ridiculous. Right? Let the Cowboys be the circus act everybody's taking pictures of and laughing at years later. Remember on vacation when the Cowboys got on the carousel? They were on the orange horse. Just chill. The actual advantage is for the Panthers. The reason why you should actually be excited is it's a pace thing. It's it's a calendar thing. You get to prepare for the big moments of the offseason at a natural pace rather than rushing. When you hire a new coach in an offseason, everything is in fast forward from that point forward. Everything is go, 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 go. Hire your coordinators. All right, decide what your system's going to be. All right, decide which players on your roster are going to stick around and fit your system. Decide what you want to do with your draft pick. Decide what you want to do in free agency. Decide if you should trade. Decide if this. Decide if that. By the way, where are you going to live? By the way, who's going to be your director of football operations? Oh, actually, you don't get to pick that. The GM gets to pick that. Go, 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 go. What are you going to do differently? What are you going to do the same? The Jets, Bears, Raiders, Jags, Cowboys, and even the Patriots, who have their guy, will be rushing this offseason. The Panthers have to enjoy, appreciate, and take advantage of being on a regular schedule. Their draft, their free agency, should be the most well-researched and best prepared for draft and free agency that the Panthers have had since the 2022 offseason. That was the last time an offseason for the Panthers had a coach that finished the previous year as head coach and started the next year as head coach, and it was Matt Rule.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things packed into off seasons when you're throwing in figuring everything else out.
And last time they had the same GM, head coach, and quarterback all coming back was 2018 going into 2019.
Think of all the time.
It's a long time ago.
But think of all the time spent every offseason on figuring out quarterback, figuring out head coach, figuring out GM, and I mean it's quite literally like if you have a massive backyard, and it takes you an hour to 2 hours, 3 hours to mow it. Once you live in that house for 10 years, you're like, do you realize I could be like a black belt or something if I just took all the time I spent mowing this lawn and went and learned a hobby? The Panthers' hobby over the last, what'd you say, 2018?
2018 into 2019.
Since at least we'll call it 2019. Since 2019, their mowing of lawns has been just spending time evaluating GMs, head coaches, and quarterbacks and trying to figure that out. This offseason, they finally splurged. They finally said, let's just get the landscaping company. Let's let them do it. And I'm going to take the 3 hours that I usually spend on Sundays mowing the lawn, and I'm going to fill in the blank. Finally get certified as whatever you want to get certified. I'm going to finish the Great American Novel. I'm going to coach the kids' baseball team. You finally get to use that time for good. On the Panthers side of it, it's like instead of deciding who's going to be our coach, I get to self-scout and scheme up how our wide receivers are going to be best. Instead of having to decide who our quarterback's going to be, I get to let that quarterback have the reins and take the players to wherever the offseason quarterback-led camp is going to be.
I know who to draft around him.
Oh, look, he needs a speed guy. I can go work on scouting. Do I want Isaiah Bond? Do I want the Royals from Utah State? Whatever wide receiver you want that has some speed. Look at that. At this point last year, the head coach couldn't be scheming up for who they thought their quarterback was going to be or who their quarterback was because they didn't know who their quarterback was going to be and they didn't know who their coach would be. It's simply a calendar thing. This offseason, you have more time to focus on the little things, which should mean you have a higher percentage of getting the little things right. Dan Morgan was not grinding tape of fifth-round picks. He was interviewing, right? He was trying to figure out what his next step was going to be. He actually did pretty well in the fifth round with Shaw Smith-Wade, but you'd think there would be a better chance of doing very well in the fifth round this year with more time. And on top of that, like I said, there are 5 teams, and if you include the Patriots who did hire Vrabel, 6 teams that this offseason is going to be chaos for them like it's been chaos for the Panthers in the past. And then if you mix in the playoff teams, there's still 8 playoff teams, bunch more lost over the weekend. They haven't been as engaged in the offseason as you are, and they probably need to take, whenever their season ends, a week or 2 to recharge. You're ahead of them. There's like half the league right there that is at least should be expecting to not be as efficient this offseason as you are. Now, take advantage of it, right? Take advantage of it. Run through every scenario. I love that, and it's, Dennis, I like to think lovingly jokes that I love mock draft season.
Oh, you do?
I do. Sometimes I think you're saying it like, look at this nerd, but I'm okay. I own up to it.
I have fun with it too.
Yeah, no,
but you are like go all
exactly. I'm not denying the charges at all. I plead guilty. But my point is, run through every possible scenario in a mock. So, like, say you get an unexpected call for the 8th pick on a trade. You're not running to Brant Tillis like, Brant, what do we think about this? They're offering blah, 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 blah. Just walk over to Brant like, yep, scenario 37. I'm going to turn it down because we think we can get scenario 35 out of them. Click. Like,
break open this envelope.
yeah, exactly. All right. It's like a choose your own adventure, right? Trade with the Giants. Flip it over. They are interested in quarterback. All right, flip to page 37. Yeah, it's going to be a no for me, Joe Shane. It's like that's how prepared you should be. Jokingly on like the actual have it written down. But run through like how you want to react to every potential situation. Last year, and I do love, speaking of being a nerd, all the behind-the-scenes footage we now get of drafts. Teams are putting out all like the war room after picks and everything, and the discussion that goes into trades. We did see them get calls, right? We did see them make moves up into the first round. Like when that's taking place, you should be better prepared for it this year than you've ever been because you have the alignment. You know who you're building around. I mean, you got to go back to like prime Cam, to when you had a GM, a head coach, and a quarterback and an owner that were just like all at least stable and going to be there for the next couple years. It's a long time. Cam Newton's on reality television jumping into helicopters. Did you see that? He's an unbelievable athlete. He jumped from a boat to a helicopter and then just basically, I don't know, like pressed himself up into the helicopter. And I haven't watched the show. It's like, I don't know, celebrities get to pretend to be Navy SEALs or something. I'm looking at it going, there's no way they're asking other celebrities to do this. They have like, the third girl from the Brady Bunch. They have like a cast-off Bachelorette contestant and Cam Newton. I'm like, there's no way they're asking the others to jump out of a boat onto a helicopter like Cam Newton is doing. I'm not even sure Cam Newton was super confident in it, although he made it look pretty easy.
Did you see what Antonio Brown said?
No.
Oh, Antonio Brown posted, man, you can do this, jump to a helicopter, but you can't jump on a fumble in the Super Bowl.
Yikes.
I was like, gosh.
Pointed. I mean, there's a little glass house situation going on there, right?
No, well, there's
Antonio
that,
Brown, make jokes. I think there's a few Cam could respond with, but we won't go down that path. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. 5:30, we have Stormwatch for the Canes game coming up here on 99.9 The Fan. So we'll get to the starting five, and we'll send you off to Canes in style coming up next.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina.
Game over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
Stormwatch with Adam Gold at 5:30. Puck drop at 6.
Here come the hats! A natural hat trick for Marty Natchez!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan.
Just in time for you to have a great new year, it's the Start Something New sales event at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Put yourself in the driver's seat of a new 2024 Jeep Gladiator for 0% for 36 months. Or take $18,000 off any new 2024 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon or Mojave. See dealer for details. Make this your best year yet with a great deal on a new ride. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
If you needed one more reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler, get this. Diamonds Direct maintains involvement in the entire diamond process and handpicks the best just for you. You see, any jeweler can claim to be a direct importer or have so-called partnerships overseas, but Diamonds Direct has special access that others simply don't have. Nobody can get closer to the source than Diamonds Direct. Indeed, Diamonds Direct is recognized in the industry as a world diamond powerhouse with unrivaled buying power and decades of inside connections that go back to their roots as actual diamond cutters. Bottom line, Diamonds Direct is without question the jeweler here that can truly offer the absolute best value. Make no mistake, Diamonds Direct refuses to be undersold on GIA certified diamonds. And we challenge you, let us prove it. Diamonds Direct, your source for the ultimate diamond value. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics. And proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. And see why? It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Available in app only. T&Cs apply.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We expect a colder night, 21 the low here in the Triangle. Some of the colder rural locations will definitely be in the teens. Tomorrow we start to warm up. It's partly cloudy, it's milder, it's breezy, the high of 50, sunshine 51 Friday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones this afternoon at the closing bell up 703 points to 43,221.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Couple bits of housekeeping before we jump into the starting 5. First, Canes right here, 99.9 The Fan. 5:30, Stormwatch, Adam Gold. 6 o'clock, Canes versus Buffalo on the road. It's up there in Buffalo. That's coming up here on 99.9 The Fan. It is a radio-only broadcast for Mike and Tripp. So if you want to hear the local squad, the group that we have grown to know and love, you have to hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Secondly, because they are taking over for the Canes game a little bit early on the network here on 99.9, that means there will be no numbers game today, which means no chance for you to win Chris Stapleton tickets. But tomorrow, 5:30, Friday, 5:30, we have Chris Stapleton tickets for you to win during the numbers game. So no chance today. Bummer. Sorry. But tomorrow and Friday, there's more opportunities. Keep that in mind. Now, the starting 5, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Too strong. The rebound for Foster. Looking to push the pace. 5 on 4. Foster to the right. Cooper to the corner. Knueppel again. Why not? Timeout Miami. 12 straight.
You know, it is funny. I don't even know if everyone picks up on this, but this is one of those things that, you know, it's the little things. It's when you care about the little things that you think you're doing your job well. Like if Jordan Stahl has a hat trick, per se, if that were to hypothetically happen in the last couple of days, we would put that as number 3 in the starting 5. Hat trick, number 3. Again, I don't know if everyone else notices that, but we try to make it make sense. It's like I said, you care about the details, whether they notice or not. It's in the love. We couldn't do that for Duke and all their shooting yesterday. 17 threes, over 50%, 6 for Knueppel by himself. We couldn't even go like, oh, number 5 for all of Knueppel's threes. He's like, yeah, well, I have an extra, so what are you going to do with that? I said this earlier, and I think it's a compliment to Duke, kind of backhanded compliment. They're not as good as they played last night against Miami. They're very good. They're still my pick to win the ACC, still my pick to win the national championship. They're not as good as they played against Miami last night. If you take that team with all of the things they can do, switching on defense, you can switch essentially 1 through 5 in a lot of cases, with Malawash out there being the unbelievable athlete he is, with Cooper Flagg distributing, like with the depth they have, they're really good. If they shoot over 50% from 3, that's one where you just kind of got to throw your hands up, right? Like, what are we doing here? There's moments where that happens in sports, right? When Steph Curry hits a one-legged fadeaway and he banks in the 3, you're just like, you know what? I guess I'm not going to win because I forced you into the one-legged fadeaway and took away the angle to the rim, and you put English on it and banked it in. Like, that's on you. If Duke's going to shoot 53%, there was nothing Miami could do. There was nothing Miami could do anyway because Miami's dead last in the ACC. Their coach left them in the middle of the season. They're not playing the best basketball. But if Duke's going to hit 53% as a team from 3, that's you just throw your palms up and you go, all right, not our day, fellas. John Shire, the coach, he talked about their offense doing their best work when the ball gets moving.
I think we've, found out how good we can be when we share it, and I think our guys have fell in love with that, and we continue to do it. Cooper's passing, I thought was terrific. He also had some plays where he knows he needs to be stronger and tighter and all that, but I think he's a big reason. But I thought really all our guys, like even though it doesn't translate to assists, like Tyrese had 2 assists, I thought he had a lot more passes that led to something good. And so that's something we try to emphasize. It's not just the assists, it's just making the right basketball play.
First of all, it's been a good 2-game run for Duke as far as the others, meaning not Cooper Flagg having good days. He went 10 straight games leading or co-leading Duke in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. 10-game win streak. He co-led at least in all of them. Malawash led in rebounds last night. Knueppel led in points last night. So some other guys are starting to do what they do at a high level, which is very good for them as far as, achieving big and lofty goals. The one thing I'll say, and I listened to the entirety of John Shire's media availability, and he didn't that one clip was more of it than what actually took place. So I'm not saying he did this all. Make sure, like, when other guys have good days, you don't attribute it to Flagg, right? When Knueppel knocks it down, be like, Cooper Flagg was really moving the ball well. He was setting his teammates up, even the ones that didn't hit assists. Because I'm like, you know what? I think Cooper Flagg has enough praise, right? I don't think when somebody else does something, you got to find a way to, like, make it okay that he didn't lead him in scoring. Like, that, it'll be all right. When other guys have good days, that's good for everybody. Everybody should be celebrating. And I think Flagg does a good job of that, by the way. He does a lot of – he does this – it's not him. Modern basketball has a lot more three-point celebrations from the bench than basketball had when I was playing. Somebody hits a 3, you look to the sideline. There's someone, like, miming shooting an arrow. There's somebody like bowling. There's somebody like just doing like a TikTok dance, RIP TikTok. Like they go kind of nuts, and he participates in that when someone else hits. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's number 5. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Was that a gargoyle sound?
No, it was the Panther growl, but I had nothing close. I mean, what else was I supposed to run?
I did
talk about the Greensboro Gargoyles.
The Greensboro Gargoyles. That's funny. I looked in there. Dennis was like, "What do you want me to do? It's a gargoyle." An ECHL hockey team coming to Greensboro. The Greensboro Gargoyles. First of all, that's exciting in its own right.
By the way, for people that don't know what the ECHL is, it's the equivalent to AA baseball. That's the tier of professional hockey here in North Carolina.
Which is fun. I love minor league sports. And I love even more when you stumble into seeing like an all-time great before they were the all-time great. All right, where I saw so-and-so when he was in the ECHL is really fun. I've had professional relationships with teams. Norfolk Admirals. At a different level, the Tri-City Storm out in Nebraska I've done some stuff with. Either way, minor league of any sport is cool. The other part that we haven't talked about yet, and this will be a quick 30 seconds or less edition. For those of you that are diehard hockey fans and fans of the Spitting Chicklets podcast, those two guys are part owners. Ryan Whitney, former NHL player, Paul Bissonnette, former NHL player. Different levels of career, but we don't gotta do Bissonnette like that. Biz is also on TNT. Like they're a bunch of different places in media. They're co-owner or partial owners of the team, and if you listen to them talk about it, they're gonna be hands-on owners. They've got some creative structuring things and I don't know if the stuff they want to do is even legal. Things like, massive financial incentives for winning and scoring. And they kind of want to treat it like the cool uncles at the Little League game that are like, hey, you hit a home run, I'll give you $100 in a bag of M&Ms. They kind of want to run like an entire ECHL like that. So we'll see.
JJ Jansen, Carolina Panthers long snapper, also a minority owner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he actually has a small stake in the Charlotte Checkers as well.
Free agent upcoming, JJ Jansen.
Yeah, he better come back.
What is he on, 260 consecutive games with the Panthers?
Something like that, yeah. Keep the streak going.
I was going to say, when he leaves, it'll be his choice. How funny would it be if the long snapper goes retirement tour? He announces now that it'll be his last season next year. So that way, his last game in New Orleans, he's waving to the crowd on the way out. It's been a good 20 years.
That's something that he'd do, by the way.
It'd be funny. He has a personality. He's going to go into media, I guarantee it. Maybe hanging out with the Chicklets guys. That was, what number was that, 4?
Yep.
Actually, you know what? One more time here, just because it's a fun Wednesday. Make a gargoyle sound. Oh, that's a Panther. I wanted to hear you
You do a gargoyle sound. That sounds like Panther. The Panther.
Yeah. I don't know. What is it? I've never... The cartoon? I don't remember what they sound like. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
1-point game, drifts to the right at 5. Right wing now drives, pulls up for a 15-footer. It's short. Rebound, no good. NC State wins the game on a pinball defensive stop.
Why did we both assume gargoyles would be growling and mean? Maybe this is how
they look like that.
Maybe this is how a gargoyle sounds. Nice to meet you. I'm a gargoyle.
Maybe.
NC State at Virginia Tech tonight. Every game for NC State. I'm broken recording a little bit here. It's another chance for them to try something, right? Figure out. The way I keep describing this team is I know there is a correct way to use this roster. I know there is a tempo, a system, a style of play. I know they have more talent than they've kind of been able to utilize. But I'm just 100% a problems guy, not a solutions guy here. I don't know what it is. Kevin Keats, their head coach, was asked if his team is close to putting it all together.
There's a thin line between being 3-2 and 2-3, and I completely understand that. But we've closed some games off. We've had some great defensive stops at the end. You look at Notre Dame, we scored, and the Notre Dame game was kind of a little bit opposite of, the way the Carolina game ended. But I do like where we are I think we're starting to put it together a little bit more defensively than we are offensively. But, in those 4 games, and I'm talking about our 4 ACC games, those were all games that could have went either way. And right now we're 2-2 in those, and hopefully we can build on the ones that we won, not the 2 that we lost.
Is the team putting it together? They hope so. I think part of it is Marcus Hill kind of establishing himself as the leading scorer, the main usage kind of creator for the team. I also think part of it is giving the opportunity to some of the freshmen, right? McNeil, Parker, they have some guys that might be able to bring some dynamic ability as freshmen, and I wouldn't be surprised, and Kevin Keats has told the media as much, to not be surprised if they get an opportunity at some more run. Maybe that's tonight at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's not a big bad bully on the block in the ACC. Speaking of, I think I have to change my verbiage. I do a lot of, I call big bad bully on the block is a team that is intimidating in your conference. And like last year before, talk about the ACC, there's only a couple teams you'd be like, hey, they're not a big bad bully on the block, which was a nice way of saying like, hey, win this game by double digits. This year, I catch myself almost every matchup a local team has saying like, they're not facing the big bad bully on the block. UNC is facing Cal. We'll get to it in a second. Not a big bad bully on the block. Like, we need levels of not bullies. There's only like 1 or 2 bullies, so I can't describe 16 teams as not a big bad bully. We got to change our expectations, I think, a little bit there. But Virginia Tech, for sure, not a big bad bully on the block. NC State should have an opportunity to try some things and hopefully for their fans stumble into, figure out, click, light bulb go on, whatever it is, that eureka moment where they learn how to unlock the top level of their talent. Something as simple as this. Like, I know Brandon Huntley-Hatfield's been banged up and hurt, but when he was at Louisville, he's like a 12, 13 point per game scorer, has some games up around 20. You just haven't seen that scoring ability really this year when he's been healthy for NC State. That's one of those things. Like, it's there. You've seen it. He's done it against you. You have to figure out how to unlock it. And they haven't quite gotten the combination correct yet. That's number 3. Now number 2.
Just the 2 of us. Game clock down to 6. Cadeau fouled on the 3, and he makes it!
Shout out to Chase on Twitter. He sent me a YouTube video titled Gargoyle Sounds.
Nice.
There's everything on the internet, man. UNC versus Cal tonight. I have to give UNC credit. I've been tough on UNC, partially because you were a top 10 team in the preseason, and you haven't lived up to that. But one thing I failed to acknowledge, and I did my best to point a spotlight on it earlier today, is UNC really doesn't have any bad losses. For all of their struggles, they don't have any losses that you'd point to and go, yikes, what happened there? If they had 3 losses, you could point to any of their losses as one of the 3 and it would be okay, right? They lost to Kansas, who's a top 10 team. I have them, matter of fact, I have the entire list right here and the rankings as they currently sit in the AP top 25. Number 9, Kansas. Number 1, Auburn. Number 12, Michigan State. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, Florida. And Louisville, who's also receiving votes in the AP poll, but you could argue is the second best team in the ACC thus far. None of those teams are like, ooh, that's a hideous loss. And there's value in that. There's value in having no bad losses. I think there's more value in having, some gigantic, awesome wins, right? They did beat UCLA. That's about it as far as noteworthy wins. But keep it up against Cal, right? Just keep buying time. There's been a few games that's what it feels like. You beat Notre Dame by, 2? You beat, or 1. You beat NC State by 2. You beat Dayton by 2. You beat Georgia Tech by 3. Like, those games aren't powerful, oh my goodness, but they buy you time, right? They're not going to kill you. So keep doing that. Hubert Davis, he gave the scouting report on the new ACC opponent, the Cal Berkeley Golden Bears.
From an offensive standpoint, they do a really good job of getting to the free throw line and they shoot a really good percentage as a team. So, just like, when we play played NC State, one of the emphasis was to be able to defend them and defend them without fouling. And so that's going to be huge for us on Wednesday against Cal. They're also a great offensive rebounding team. And so, we gave up 16 offensive rebounds against NC State. That's just not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be a recipe for success against Cal because even their guards get to the offensive glass. And so those are two areas defensively that we got to be locked in on Wednesday in order to have success against Cal.
You know what? You're right. You can't give up all those offensive rebounds. The good news, you might actually have a size advantage tonight against Cal. Jalen Washington, coming off his first double-double of the year, faces a team who doesn't have anyone that plays more than 14 minutes taller than 6'9", which means most of the time, Jalen Washington, if he's out there, right, because he's taller than 6'9", be the tallest guy out there on the court. That's not a situation UNC finds themselves in very, very often. So Cal does a few things well. They do have some shooters. They do have some guys that can score, but they're not necessarily the biggest team in the league. That's somewhere UNC can maybe turn what is traditionally a weakness for them into a strength to do what they need to do to avoid a bad loss and get a win. It's number 2. How about number 1?
The one! Besser, he steps his way and shot right on. Save made by Tokarski. Follow-up is pushed wide.
Canes at Buffalo tonight. Very soon, actually. In about 10 minutes, we're turning over the station to Adam Gold and Stormwatch. And then 6 o'clock will be puck drop for Canes on the road at Buffalo. You heard Tokarski there. Kind of surprising. Kochetkov appears to be getting the night off. Was last off, or Tokarski was first off in morning skate. So the idea is he's going to be the guy in goal tonight. Now, I don't have, and you'll hear all the insight from Adam Gold, and then of course even more so from Mike and Tripp during the game. But if there's an injury or something or a tweaked muscle, I just don't know about it. So that could obviously explain a lot. If there's not, I think it's interesting they're giving Kochetkov, like I described it earlier as like, hey, we called up Geek Squad and they just told us to unplug it and plug you back in, just give you a minute to cool down. They haven't played since Sunday. Today's Wednesday. Since Freddie Anderson has gone down, when Pyotr Kochetkov can be rested, unless it's like the front of a back-to-back and they wanted to give him a little bit extra, like unless there's a specific scheduling quirk, he's been the guy that's gotten the call when he's rested. Coming off, multiple days off and going with Tokarski tells me there is something they want to kind of reset for Kochetkov, again, barring injury. Is there logic to that? I think there is, right? He let in the 2 goals that I think he would rather not right before the break, and getting almost a week off is something that athletes sometimes need. You agree, Dennis?
Yeah, I'm 100% with it, especially you got Vegas coming into town on Friday, and then you have an extra couple of days over the weekend before you have a Monday game as well. That's when you get to go on the road from correctly. They're in Chicago on Monday. Yes, buy that guy a couple extra days if you can, because he's been worked hard a lot this season. He needs a couple extra days, especially if you want to have him healthy and fully ready to go in 3 months when the playoffs get here.
And not to be rude, not to disrespect, Buffalo's probably a safe spot to get your guy a little extra rest. They are dead last in the Atlantic Division, 4th worst in the entire league. Maybe not the strongest opponent in the world, which obviously, right, if you take them too not seriously, you open yourself up to a bad loss. But Tokarski's, I've been describing him as he's played valiantly. Like in tough situations, he's gone out there and he's fought. He's had some really, really good performances. Some justifiably, like that guy looks like he hasn't been in the NHL since 2022 performances. But I don't think you're sending someone out there like you're throwing up a white flag or disrespecting the opponent by saying like we could put our ECHL team out there and win this one. I don't think that's what's happening at all. You're just buying Kochetkov a couple extra days.
Not playing the Gargoyles.
Not playing the Gargoyles. It's great. It's a great name. I don't know. There's nothing else to say about that. Is this the YouTube?
Yep, Gargoyle sounds. Just looked it up on YouTube. There it is.
Historically, right, in science, they would tell you that's what a gargoyle sounds like.
Of course.
Sarcasm. Rod Brindamore talked about Sebastian Aho and how he impacts the game beyond scoring.
I look at his best game of the year is probably the Florida game in Florida. I don't even know if he got it on the score sheet, but he was all over it. And playing against, a tough matchup, and that's what he gets on the road. He's going to get, for sure, tougher matchup, and he's got to be able to, if he's not on the score sheet, make sure that he's doing other things that you're mentioning, whether it's killing penalties, whether it's, 5-on-5, D-zone, whatever. He's got to be impactful, and I think that's what you're seeing. I think that line been a little more impactful. Jarvis obviously helped going there, and they seem to have a good little kind of chemistry going, and you need that out of your best players.
How about that? If he's talking about the most recent Florida game as his best game, the one right at the turn of the new year, he is correct. Sebastian Aho was not on the score sheet. No goals, no assists in that one, which is fascinating, right? That's where you just you know that obviously, and I'm not breaking news here. Rod just sees the game at a higher level than the rest of us because Aho has, 3-point games this year, 4-point games, if I'm not mistaken, some point along the way. Maybe not this year. Maybe I'm thinking back to last year on that one. But I know he has a 3-point game against Pittsburgh. So when you have a 3-point game and you're saying he's better when he's not on the score sheet, that just shows, Aho does the little things, and that's why I think Rod enjoys his game as much as he does, because he does all those little things. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get out of here and pass things off to Adam, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Here's the rub, everybody. Here's the simplicity of it. Sometimes you need a mortgage, and you don't get to choose the timing. You need to move. Job. You need to move. Bigger house. Closer to family. Whatever it is. And when that happens, call Miller Lending. Don't pay closing costs and fees. If you have to lock into a rate that's a little higher than you want, no closing costs and fees can take that burden and dull it just enough, right? No money out of your pocket, no third-party fees. Zero means zero. Gordon's been doing no closing cost loans since 1987, and he wants to help you out. And everyone over at Miller Lending wants to help you out. So go ahead and give them a call at 919-447-3377. If you're in the market for a mortgage, they're brokers, right? They can shop the market, dozens of lenders, and come back to you with the best rate. 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. As I said earlier, we're getting out a little early today because we're turning things over to Adam Gold and Stormwatch, where he will get you ready for the Canes at Buffalo, which is scheduled to start at 6 o'clock, a little bit earlier for a Canes game today. We'll be back tomorrow for a regular show, 3 to 6. So please join us there. And as always, personal favor, YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe when you're there. Check out the live stream. We'll greatly appreciate it. Until tomorrow, enjoy the game. Enjoy your evening. See ya.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina.
Game over! Sebastian Aho wins it in overtime!
Stormwatch with Adam Gold at 5:30. Puck drop at 6.
Here come the hats! A natural hat trick for Marty Natchez!
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Wolfpack Sports Today is presented by Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder sponsor of NC State Athletics. And now, here's Wolfpack Sports Today.
A match as an Alpaca Men's Hoops is in Blacksburg. Wolfpack Sports Today is next.
Dreamfinders Homes is excited to announce their partnership with NC State Athletics as the official home builder sponsor of the Wolfpack. With nearly 50 new and up